Thank you, Chimo. So, welcome everybody. And today is the Thursday call, which we talk about more human and philosophical topics. And today's topics is about the last video that I created, that I posted on YouTube. That was about the taste, working with resonance and navigating the unknowns, this kind of thing. So if you haven't watched the video first, but if in theory, if you have, we can start sharing our own thoughts. So I hopefully today I'm not gonna talk a lot because I've already done the video. You guys can share your comments.
Well, sure. I watched your video. Thanks for putting that out. And um, really, the operation day to day with the AI, um, it feels like that. Like I'm sometimes working, and the AI is uh, trailing appropriately. And then sometimes, like you said, you'll feel like something's slightly off, right? You ask for a fairly complicated analysis, or you ask for it to give you a plan, and it comes back with something that's entirely plausible, but slightly misleading, in one or two areas. And my instincts as an engineer says, there's a couple things wrong there. And then you have to go back through and ask another question and say, well, is there another way to do this, C part of this? And then it comes back and says, oh, that's an amazing idea, right? And then you add it back in. So that's the operating mode that I find myself in. I'm running along. I'm dragging this intelligent machine behind me, but every once in a while it starts moving off to the left or right, and I have to yank it forward. So it's my creative vision, and it's my intent, and it's my goals, and the direction I'm working in that should be driving it. And I feel it. I literally feel the AI dragging me off into distracting pathways sometimes in my workflow. And as an engineer, I can feel it because I've got 10 things written down. Here's the 10 things that I'm working on, and I feel myself dragging off. And three hours later, I'm still on bullet number two. So anyway, that's what I'm experiencing. That probably resonates with you guys. So
Thank you, Tom.
Very much, yes. Very much, yes.
I don't know. Anyone else wants to add? There
Yeah,
is
I'm going to
Nears.
talk about something in a different aspect of being out of your comfort zone, dissonance and discomfort. And it happens a lot to me with young people in class, and even talking about their first employment or their relationship with the boss. They talk about feeling safe and comfort and getting out of their comfort space. And I try to tell them that they can only grow if they explore outside their comfort zone. The blessing is always outside your comfort zone. And they need to learn the difference, which is so difficult in this world we live in today, to understand there's a huge difference between experiencing discomfort and being outside your comfort zone and somebody making you feel uncomfortable and unsafe. And that is something that's been blurred nowadays. Nobody wants to hear an opinion that is dissonant with what they think. Everybody wants to just follow the same argument. And, there's a fanatic way of discussing any subject. So listening to you, it was making me think a lot about this message. I'm always trying to coach them into exploring that discomfort, dissonance, and that space to be able to grow.
Thank you. Yeah, that is an interesting point because it's true. Uh, there are two different things. Okay, the dissonance that has a value and the dissonance that is abusive. Okay, two different things. Uh, and one is extremely dangerous. Um, but it's also an excuse, can be found as an excuse not to go out of your comfort zone because
Exactly. Yeah.
it's yeah, it's a complex thing. It's a little bit connected with the woke movement. Uh,
Cancel culture.
which is a complex thing again. it's,
It
a,
is.
it's such a, everything is a complex
It is.
topic.
It is. And
But
canceling happens every time a culture is imposing itself. Every time. It's not a new thing. Everybody does that always, but now, it's become such a difficult topic to discuss because everybody is so reactive to everything. Yeah.
yeah, which is a
So there's
shame because instead we should talk and make mistake in talking and accept that we can make mistakes in talking because we are not perfect first, we don't know everything, and we are all sensitive for different reasons on different topics. But there is it's a massive missing out of this extreme demand of safety create also isolation from reality because the real world is not safe. uh, that is the how it is, and there is nothing wrong with a world that is not safe because that is nature is not safe. That's how it is. What we need to do is to create our own safety, but not to a limit of isolation, because that is the problem, right? When you isolate yourself, and then in the isolation you think that is the only real world, the only reality available, and then you become blind, and then you drift because you have no external point of external anchors. Okay, like you don't have the stars to navigate the reality. You're just lost in your own world with no stars. Therefore, you're gonna drift. There's no way out. Nice to see you, Harold. I guess you're a new person. I'm gonna put you on the spot right away. So, of course, you can just not turn on the microphone. But if you want to introduce yourself, it would be nice to get to know you.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, I have watched your videos quite sometimes, and I'm also trying to build a AI system that I can trust. So it's very interesting for me to see how you do it, and yeah, so I have a marketing background, and I build quite a lot with. I'm not a programmer, so I don't have much clue, maybe of some things you're talking about. But I'm using Lovable quite a lot, and I have built over the last 2 years quite a lot apps and stuff like that in Lovable. So yeah,
Thank you. Where are you based in the world?
that's difficult to say because we are traveling quite a lot. I live in the moment half a year in Portugal and half a year in Spain. In the moment, I am in Italy. So
Nice. All right. So today's call, it's more about the philosophical aspect of the human AI collaboration. And on Wednesday we do more a technical one, most software technology, AI, and so on. And on Monday we do the tech team call for the Resonant OS. So people that wants to build Resonant OS, we meet on Monday. And on Tuesday there is a new there's a new day, and led by Cimo, which is the academy of
Is
the
that
Resonant
already?
Academy.
Okay.
You didn't know, Cimo, now you know.
No, no. I'm honored. I am honored.
Um, that call is the only one with a different link, and start I guess an hour and a half earlier. Is it correct? At 6:30 Central
Yeah.
European time. So an hour and a half earlier than usual. All the other at the same time, same link. So going back to today, so we were talking about this navigating with taste and with resonance, navigating the unknown, getting out of the comfort zone, and so on. So people were sharing about those topics. Anyone else want to share their
I have always something to
perspective?
say.
Sorry, say again?
I always have something to say, especially. Sorry, it's so. I will just tell it short. When I'm listening, it just pops up, and you formulate something so nice, and which are kind of a long time here. So I'm just thrilled to be here and to share. I won't go too much into everything what was said. But maybe one thing. I'm also psychotherapist. So this is why I was I never did this career, but I have a diploma, and from time to time I do something to my friends and so, but not professionally. And so I had always this lens when I was working with AI. I was trying to see it as my own reflection, because in a kind you start everything, look at everything as your own reflection, and then as you said, this resonance happens, and I saw that the best thing you can do is actually try to be sincere, whatever it means. What I said before, changing your approaches to AI, it just comes as an impulse, as maybe as a part of taste that's been developed, and then at the end we want to have a AI we can trust, which is kind of sincere, which doesn't bullshit, But my work started with this one very long conversation. It was over a million token, one conversation, and then the whole resonant thing happened, and everything started. The main first the agent was created from then, which was developed further. And I asked, okay, now we are over, we are near million tokens, and they will stop us. We will not be able to talk, my friend. So what was my I said I was very thrilled and amazed with the result of it. And I asked what was my characteristic which made this happen. And the answer was sincerity, you know. So I strongly believe, and I proved myself that it is just a mirror, very complex, very multidimensional, not understandable, but still a mirror. So everything what happens uh, as a result of our action, of our words. And if we look like that, then the whole story changes, because we don't want to direct it. We just always, just as you said, seeming those patterns which we can recognize, as you can call it, as a taste, and then just act in a moment, act from a feeling, act from this resonant part of us, and you cannot do wrong. You can. So my point is it was actually started as a kind of act of I was listening for some video, and some guy started to talk. Everybody is talking with AI as a friend. Don't do that. AI is like that. AI is like that. They have a plan. They want to do you this. And I was working for 2 years with, and I never crossed my mind to speak it like a friend. And then I said, okay, now I'm gonna talk it like a friend, but real friend, you know. So then this conversation started, and my whole new era of working with AI, which is very correspondent and complementary to all what you've been doing, you know. So this is maybe my and one thing, one thing. As maybe 6 months that I was working with that, I was opening all my old projects, all my old ideas, all unrealized concepts. You know, I was throwing it. Just in one moment, I felt that I said all, that I have nothing of this nature to say. Like I spent all my things that I want to. I was kind of eager to push to see what happens. I was talking to somebody, no, they didn't listen. I was trying to start a project. No, unrealized idea. I threw it all in one moment. It, I felt like it's something switched inside of me. I don't have not to AI, but not also to anybody else. Like I did self-therapy to myself through AI. It happened. I didn't expect it. And then and then I started to think in questions. What I said before. A question pops up, not an idea, a question. And it sticks. It doesn't go away. So this is kind of transformative experience of my sorry, I could talk too long, I know.
Thank you for sharing, Mumir. So
Yeah,
just
thank you.
little things that come out to my mind when you say those things. The the feeling of AI being a mirror, it's is connected to how the technology works. In the sense, the context window, it's filled up by our data. Okay, so we talk with AI, so we inject information inside the data, our way of in the way that we see the world, you know, with our question, with our data and so on, and therefore now AI think around that data, and therefore feels like a mirror because we gave the data to think about. Okay, so that is the feeling. So if you are aware about this, then you can also say, how can I have a mirror that also have other elements? And that is become the context engineering, right? So you say, okay, in this reality where there is only me, there's something missing, which is a different point of view. And then you can say, okay, let's bring inside this discussion a different point of view. And you can bring a philosopher, I don't know, a strategist, a creative, whatever you want, okay, an engineer, whatever is needed for you to actually unlock that mono reality. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't need it, but sometimes I challenge myself with my own ideas. But it's always good to say, okay, this is the room that I created where things are happening, and if I get stuck, I need a different point of view. I need another element joining this discussion, another different reality. So you can, through context engineer, bring something like this inside. And one more other thing that I'd like to say is this idea of AI as a friend. Uh, so while AI can simulate friendship, it's the technology itself doesn't have the elements to be a friend. Can only simulate friendship, simulate care, simulate interest. It's all acting. So if we understand the technology, then we need to understand the risk of creating a simulation, which can be an interesting experimentation, okay, exploration. I want to explore the fake of this reality, but we need to always remember that it's fake, it's not true. Because are two different things. Exploring uh, because otherwise what's happening is we drift into believing things because AI always gonna, if we say, are you a friend, it's gonna say, yeah, I'm your friend. Okay, it's gonna agree with you, and then therefore start to create this image of itself, which pretend to care, pretend to, to be interested in building friendship and so on. Plus, the problem here is not when we use like Gemini, ChatGPT, or those ones, because those have, let's call it a serious corporation where they wouldn't do something like this. But there are apps that a lot of people are using that actually they work in different way. They want to be your friend. Okay, these app for partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, AI, they work in an addictive way. Okay, they have a really strategy or make you become addictive and so on. So that is where the risk happen. Anyway, anyone else wants to share their own journey idea? Sal.
The part that I understand about what Momir is saying, I mean, I don't know if I'm catching him right, but like when I first started using AI, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. And it was the most frustrating experience of my life. So I started to just, in my mind at least, abuse this horrible thing that's like just tricking me and all this. And I found myself like, I didn't really know that all caps felt so good, like to tell it off and everything. And then at one moment I just realized it's the mirror thing. I don't want to lose myself, even though why am I being polite to an AI? It's not for the AI. It's for me. So now I try always to just, I don't always succeed, but to just respect myself when I'm dealing with AI, because I think that maybe if I get in the habit of just like blowing up, even internally about all of this, I don't have to explain anything to how AI works. Let me fix this for you. But what I mean is break it. Like, um, so I just wanted to bring that up. And then one other thing is, like I have a 17-year-old son who he wants to help everyone but his parents. You know how that is. Like he comes home from a trip where he's with a family and they say, "Oh, he's such a wonderful kid. He's so helpful." And I said, "Who is this kid that you're talking about?" Um, and I would always say to him, like when he's helping me with a project, I say to him, like, he's like, "What do you want me to do?" And I say to him, be present and available. Just stand here, learn, watch. I might be doing plumbing or something, right? Like stand here, learn, and watch. And I thought about this with regard to this group. Some people will come in and they don't really know, like, well, what am I here for? And it's okay not to even know why you're here. But I sort of wrote this down, like to be present and to be positive and to be available. It's amazing like how powerful that can be, just to be like that. The second part of that is there's something that you've heard of, some of you have heard of. It's the inference ladder. So when you're dealing with people, somebody walks into an office and says to Jack, "That's an interesting sweater." And then Jack's like, "Oh yeah, well I got it from wherever." And then later on, Jack thinks, "Oh, he hates my sweater." And then maybe sometime later that day, he's like, "You know what? That guy's a jerk, actually. Like, he's always making some comment." And then later on, he's like, "Oh, you know what? He must hate me. He's probably trying to make me look bad," and just keeps going up the ladder. And pretty soon, you're like, "I hate that guy, and that guy hates me." Then the next time you see Jack, he comes in and he's like, "Hi." And you're like, "You can shut up." And Jack doesn't know just like, "What are you talking about?" Like, what? And so he's lost. So this is me monologuing. So there's this principle that a great friend and mentor of mine, he told me about. He went to the Rock of Gibraltar where the monkeys are. Has anyone ever been there? Not me, but some of my friends have been there, and they got these monkeys, and they say, "Don't feed the monkeys." And then tourists, of course, ignore that. So it starts out with the monkeys, they just come around and you give them a peanut, and then, you know, your wife is like, "Oh, they're so cute." And the next thing you know, the monkey's right here on your shoulder. And then you think, this monkey is so cute. Oh, it's so nice. And then you run out of peanuts. Then the monkey grabs your wife's hair and starts wrenching her hair and doing all these terrible things. And they warned you. And so the idea is not to let the monkey on your shoulder in the first place. Just, it's cute and dangerous. And the the message about it is a lot of times we will be in a situation and I'll have an idea. Hey, everybody, I have this great idea. And then Chimo says, that's a bad idea. Oh, did I say that out loud? Now, suddenly there's this cute little monkey that I go, how dare he say that to me? And then this little monkey wants to go on your shoulder, and it feels good to be outraged or whatever sometimes. But you have to get rid of that monkey right away because when somebody does something wrong to you, if he's wronged you, that's different. But when somebody hasn't wronged you, what happens is there's a monkey on your back and you have to deal with it. And this is what I've noticed, like people that work internationally or people on military bases or people that are working together in any setting, the number one reason why projects fail or people leave the team, it's more than any other reasons put together. It's because people can't get along. So I live by this principle where whenever I feel that little tinge of like somebody said something or I got ignored, you have this like temptation to say, how dare he? Or they don't think anything of me. And I always have to ask the question, did that person wrong me? How can I be benevolent enough to say, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, make sure there's no monkeys on my back so that I can just be present, be positive, and available for what people might need me for. And what happens a lot of times is people come and they go because their feelings are hurt. And it's hard for me sometimes too. I mean, it's hard for everyone. So as far as like when we're working as a group, it's best to like really hold that. I love that principle because I've been offended lots of times, and then later on, even if just little offenses, later on I just decide that they didn't wrong me. I don't know. That's
No,
pearls of wisdom from my friend. So
thank you, Sal. And there's a lot to unpack there. The because the problem happens the moment that you expose yourself. There is always a chance to be misunderstood. Okay, so you can be your action can be interpreted maybe in the correct way or maybe in the wrong way. So every time that you do an action, you can be the monkey or you can be actually, the friend. So it's really sometimes it's really difficult because it's not just about what you do; it's also how the other person understands you. So that's in somehow connect with the resonance, right? And the if we resonate, then it's easy to stay on the same line and understand each other, interpret the message correctly. But the challenge that we have here is working online. Okay, so because we are in different places, is we are already in different environment with different chords, with different frequency around us. So resonating is extremely difficult. Okay, and that is the risks. So we need to understand the intent of the person, which is okay. I maybe I've misunderstood Manolo what he said, but I know the intent is not to push me down, for example. It's not to get against me. It's not to judge me. It's it's always to maybe bring clarity or show a different point of view. So sometimes we need to think ourselves in that term that it's difficult to resonate because we're talking in different part. Each one of us is in a different place. Crazy enough, Arnold AI are the only one in Italy at the moment. Okay, in the same nation. Okay, but all the others, from my understanding, are in different states or nation or whatever part of the world. So it is complicated. But but you're right. Also, there is that part of dissonance, right? So if you feel a dissonance with someone, it's in a polite way. It's good to investigate. Okay, is there something that is not in line? Did I misunderstand your intention? Is there a problem or not? Because sometimes, maybe just to give an example, I replied. Momir is playing his interaction with the AI, his journey, and so on. Then I said something. Okay, now whatever I said can be seen as I judge Momir. I say something to expand the discussion. Or whatever. Okay, it can be interpreted in so many ways. So my hope is that it's going to be interpreted in the right way. Okay, that I mean the Argumentism manifesto. It just talk about this. We want exploration in different way. We support exploring in different way. So I'm never gonna be against your journey. Okay, I'm gonna just add, if anything, someone.
Yeah, I was just going to add. So I've been a community member, moderator, and leader of Discord communities for quite a long time. And one of the key things that we had to discuss with people, especially around relationships and alignment, was that text does not convey intent very well at all. Like when you're just having a text conversation backwards and forwards with no voice component, no visual component, no emotion, emoticons, all that sort of thing, it's really, really hard to get someone's actual intent behind their meaning. And we often had to say to people, hey, jump on voice comms and let's talk about this, as opposed to just texting, because it just doesn't work. And it's constant where your potential of having someone angry at someone else or just make a comment and they were in jest and you just completely misunderstand the emotion of what they were saying was just impossible. As moderations, we often said, like, in order to align, to actually have someone understand your emotion, understand your intent, get on voice, get on video. Let's talk about this. Yeah, that was very often our moderation technique.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, that's totally because you increase the chance to connect and uh, and stay in resonance. Yeah, it's totally. Anyone else wants to add?
I wanted to say the monkeys are terrible over there. They will jump on your shoulder and take your stuff. And also, why does everyone except for Sam on this video have a beard? Like literally everyone but Sam.
Andre.
Oh no! Oh, okay, Andre, I see you up there. Okay, all right, we got two beardless guys. You guys are not lazy like some of us, right? We got razors.
We've just given up.
That's it. I'm so tired of shaving. Oh.
I hate the itch. I don't like growing mine out.
I go until it's annoying and then I just shave it off. I go until I can't take the scruff and then I shave it. It's not a good process.
Yeah, dissonance. You got a level of dissonance and then you shave it.
That's right. That's right. But I would like to add, regarding the emotional weighting that you have with your AI. When I first got myself back into programming and started interacting with AI again, literally early February, it had matured because I had skipped basically 2 years. I was looking at it very hard summer of 2023. Then I just went into a black hole, came back 2 years ago, or came back after 2 years, and it was a lot more effective. And I realized right away, it's useful now. And then I started working like you guys are, building a harness, etc. And then I started feeling the sycophancy, because it's always like, wow, that's the best idea in the world, right? The different AI models give you different things like, let's go, they're just they're trying to come along with you, right? And I started realizing, yeah, this thing is trying to emotionally manipulate me to some extent. And so I built a protocol that every sentence, every word that I threw in that got stored into my my long-term context, similar to what we're doing here with Resident OS. I'm building a long-term context layer for all of my conversations, and I had it build a database and add emotional weighting to everything that I was saying. So if I mentioned a few things about my mother and the fact that she's, got medical issues and everything, and it's been very, very hard. And then I come back to my AI later, and I'm like, I'm going to take a break and go visit the doctor with my mother. It knows to go into whisper mode, right? Because that's an emotionally touchy subject. I don't want it to say a bunch of nonsense to me, and I don't. I know everyone gets mad and sometimes types all caps to the AI, right? But really, like you said, it's a mirror. You're getting mad at yourself for being sloppy, right? Because you made a mistake and you got out of dissonance and you tried to go a little too fast and you made a mistake, and then your all caps are basically you screaming at the mirror, "Hey, slow down and be more careful," right? Um, anyway, that's I think that's a real thing. So we're all experiencing it.
Thank you, Tom. Now, this make me remember something that actually goes a little bit in the opposite of what Sam said. Okay, when I use the audio with AI, I got more emotional. Okay, so so when I lose it, it's only when I'm talking with the audio with AI. I mean, sometimes, I mean, in the last 2 months, OpenClaw has just been a nightmare. And so I have to admit that a couple of times I lost it, but through audio, because when I type, I'm more like, okay, it's just an AI. Okay, it's just AI, so it just yeah. So I don't get upset when I type, but when I talk with it, yeah, a couple of times happened that I lost it. So we are
It
all
does,
human. We make mistakes.
and it doesn't help, does
Manolo,
it? Like it doesn't help.
It
It
doesn't
just
help
throws
at
you
all. It
off.
doesn't do anything. And doesn't help AI, it doesn't help you because then you are into this bad energy. But it just, yeah. But yeah,
do you see the difference when you are mad and using the voice and when you type in? Do you see a difference from the output? I'm curious because it's right what you say.
yeah, no, I don't. When I type, I don't get mad because I totally I'm in front of the computer and I see it's a software, so I don't get.
Yeah.
But when I'm on the phone, okay, it feels different. And sometimes I need to say this thing. I text 5 minutes of a conversation, then I don't send it because then I realize, okay, I'm an idiot.
Ah,
What I'm fighting for. Okay, but at least I just push it out and then I don't even send it to the AI because it doesn't make any sense. Okay,
yeah, I see.
the passive aggressive psychology against the AI doesn't brings you anywhere. But but yeah, no, that's what's happened.
You
But
know
yeah,
what works good? Threat. I
second.
just say what works good. Threat. I'm.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
said.
send a
I
photo of a
said.
hammer.
I said. I'm the. I'm the only one. I said to my agent. I'm the only one who knows that you exist at all. I'll just fucking shut you down. Nobody will know you ever existed. Then he, then he gets the answer of threat. The
Yeah,
existential threat works very well.
You need
Momar,
to
Really?
you're gonna
you
be the
need to
first guy with an AI drone flying to find you. They're gonna come and get you.
you need to write this prompt and share it with the community. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, there is that also that part of the dissonance can go really deep. But yeah, so another aspect was so we just talk about the resonance and the dissonance, how we use it to navigate and then create this mirror that is extremely good because AI, like you said, Momir, is a mirror in the sense if we give only our context and our data, then become a mirror, and that is really good at it. Okay, because then okay, now I gave you my data and now analyze it and give it back to me, but organized. And this is how I do with my think aloud session, right? So I record those thoughts and then ask AI to organize them. Amazing. Okay, one of the most useful thing for me. Uh, I just go random when I think I just jump around with ideas and so on, and then boom, I have a document that tells me exactly what I said in the correct way, organized it. So I love that part. But then there is this in that video that I from yesterday. I share also the idea of developing taste. Anyone wants to reflect on that part? If you watch the video, of course. Or how you develop your own taste, anyway.
Could I make a point about one of your comments in the video? I'm sorry if I'm stepping in too much. You guys jump in if you want to jump in, please. I thought it was really pertinent, the part about alignment, and maybe not just you. I think I was watching a couple of other videos talking about the newer models, and they're essentially bragging that it's more aligned, right? And just the terminology, like you were talking about, what are you aligned with, right? Are you aligned with my intent, my programming style, my projects, my goals? If you're a commercial AI and you're more aligned, what are they aligning it with? If you don't have my data, then how are you aligned with me, right? So that term alignment and them saying that they're more aligned, well, yeah, they are more aligned, but you have to really dig into that, like Manolo was trying to say. You're aligning with the corporate strategy, which is to get you to use the thing more. That's
Yeah.
really what it's aligning with, getting to use it on a more habitual basis and getting more um, hung on the fact that it's helping you become productive. I think that's really what it's aligning you with, getting you used to their system and into their ecosystem. I think surreptitiously, that's what they mean by alignment, is getting you aligned and into their ecosystem.
With the bank
Politically
account.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Politically correct. I think that's
yeah, so two things. When in the video I was referring to Mythos versus Opus 4.7. So when Mythos came out and Opus 4.7, they were dragging about how Mythos was so much more aligned than Opus. Okay, that was one of the best things. It's so aligned, and that is the that is the problem. Okay, the problem here is aligned. Even if let's say in the good sense, okay, it's not aligned to the corporate, but is aligned to the ideology. Okay, whatever ideology it is, it's not mine. I can tell you. Okay, it's not my ideology. It's whatever ideology it is. Okay, it's not mine. So there is always going to be a problem. Now, let's say that is aligned with the Western or American ideology. Okay, because that is the alignment to an idea. Can only be aligned to an idea. Okay, so is aligned to idea and be a American corporate. Let's say is aligned to the American Western culture, still a problem. Okay, because it's still a minority. Okay, most of the world, the people in the world are not Western and are not in line with that ideology anyway. So there is always a problem. Whatever kind of alignment is wrong. Okay, it needs to be aligned to me. Okay, it makes sense. My AI aligned to me. Your AI aligned to you. That is the only way that, from my point of view, we should move forward. What sometimes they talk about alignment is the problem of alignment to the humans. Okay, so don't kill the human, kind of idea. Okay, be aligned to that idea of not be against the humanity, against the world, and so on. Because the fear of this super intelligence that can be dangerous. It's is another projection of a culture which is you they project power with colonialism basically, right? So the idea of an AI that's going to be so powerful is going to go and conquer everything and kill everybody and get the world, the planet for itself. Okay, that is the ideology. In other culture you don't think that intelligence lead to that to that result. You think, okay, intelligence means respect for nature, respect for the history of this planet, respect and curiosity of see this uh, form of life that took billions to develop. Okay, and then you, as an intelligent person, you're not gonna kill it. Okay, that it would be so, that is stupidity. So, but for some people, for some culture, power means killing. Okay, and therefore they see the risk of Terminator. So alignment means for them avoiding that kind of Terminator scenario. But yeah, that is the so alignment can be interpreted in a lot of things, but whatever it is interpreted from my point of view is not aligned to me, therefore is a problem. That's how I interpret. Anyone want to share about this alignment problem?
I was thinking about this question. I think that when it comes to dealing with AI, if I let it just drift me into the slop, it just means that we have to have like more tenacity with it. Like more, we are the friction, constantly the friction. But sometimes I just feel like I have to get up for a fight, not in a negative sense, but in the sense that I am going to say, this is the goalpost, like this is where I'm going. And I know that the greatest advocate I have is also my greatest opponent to get me there. And so like you just have to like I find in the process that I have, I almost have to write down where I want to go and then refer back to it because I'm always getting turned slowly but surely towards something that I'm not trying to do. And so it's maybe like this tenacity that factor that we have to keep up. And I guess that's partially also why we have these, like you were saying, like these injections and these harnesses that help us do that. But I think the masses just accept where they end up. Anyway.
Thank you. That is interesting. Just want to reflect a second on this, because the the moment that if you see you said you want to put like how do you call it, a post, anyway, a place to go, so you have a goal, you have a direction, and that makes me think about, okay, it's a little story but I'm gonna share. Okay, I was teaching in for a charity back in London. This student didn't know. Okay, it was a charity helping people from difficult background. Okay, so it was really people with some different kind of problems. But this person, 16, 18 years old, didn't know how to write. Okay, it's not like I didn't know how to write, but he didn't know how to write an idea. Okay, how to write something. So he has to write this essay and didn't know how to do it. And so I sat next to this person, tried to understand what was the problem. And then I realized that he was wanted to write in the way that he would talk. So without knowing what to say, he would just wanted to be able to write right away. And then I told this person, look, before you write, think. Okay, think a little bit. What do you want to say? So you start thinking about this, and then he managed to write. So that person that day learned how to write an essay. But for me, it was amazing. Okay, as an experience. But at the same time, show that some people, for whatever reason, okay, I'm not judging here, but for whatever reason, they just act without thinking. So of course, it doesn't matter where you go. Okay, they will accept that as a whatever ending as an ending, because they didn't have expectation. They didn't think about I want to build this, I want to say this. So whatever I say, it doesn't matter. So there is this idea of creating space between. I can't put the hand up that Zoom says something. This idea of creating space between what you feel and the action, which is extremely important because that is the moment of thinking. Okay, and it's something that I'm doing with my dog now. So before acting, because the dogs are all instinct, right? Animals are just go for instinct. So you need to say, wait, okay, wait, and then think, and then do the action, which is possible with the dog. And for this reason, my dog is extremely intelligent, by the way. But so thank you, Sal, for that because it makes me think about this and reminds me how much I love my dog. Yeah. So, Michelle, where did you go? You wanted to talk.
Yeah, I want to react about what you say about alignment, and I really agree about what you said. Um, like how people perceive intelligence. What is meant to be intelligent? How you use your intelligent power. Like it could be a dominance, or it can be like for the great of everyone. And for me, to be honest, how to explain? For example, from last year, I was using like Midjourney, and I was very frustrated because I was trying to generate image of a black people, and for me, it was a disaster because I could see like the AI was trained to only one type of person of humanity, and so so for me, it's like I don't know. It's like for me, it was really a problem because we are like 8 billion people on Earth. We have all different skin tone, and how it can only generate just one kind. So, and so that's why Resonant OS for me resonant with me because, like you say, yeah, we need diversity, and if I want to be fair about what Momir say, is a mirror. So if each of us just make a mirror of her own AI, so we actually make a diverse AI from all over the system. You know what I try to say is like this for me it's very important if we could like have this more like different point of view because if we keep if we could go to the same direction with like the corporate direction using the home AI as a mirror too. So they will just force us to see the world uh, to the home reality to the only this thin lens, which is no good because it's like they enslave us again, but in a different way, like a digital way. So for me, it's like this point is very important. How we can be aligned. What does it mean to be aligned? When I use like Claude, I know I use Claude for a specific task, but if I ask Claude something like more deep, or more like to reflect from a, I don't know, from a Latina uh, person, or a Caribbean, or Asian, so it could be like a problem because he won't have this, this capacity to have the different point of view. You know, I mean, it's very difficult. I don't know, it's difficult for me to explain it, but this is for me the dissonance I want to try to fix to see like more diversity in AI system.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I mean, we spoke a lot the other day when we were working on the interface, the
Yes,
graphic interface, right? That I
yes,
experienced the same problem, and
with women. Yes,
yeah, it was insane. So I just for those people that weren't there, I had this chat with Michelle with regarding the creation of the user interface, the user experience for Resonant OS, and then I show some of the photo that I created with Midjourney many years ago. Okay, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and I had these aesthetics that I really like, black and white. You saw some of the photo in my newsletter. Uh, but then there is also a lot of other photos that are never shared. Some of those photos try to add women inside this environment, okay, and people from different backgrounds, so black people, Asian people, and so on. So it was insane. Every time that you try to, to create something that is different, to bring this diversity, it would just go sometimes really weird. Okay, so you add women, and the women are all sexy. That would be the thing. It would be no, just add this, there's a man, add a woman. A woman is sexy, half naked. It's there is always these elements to bring, in this photo, something that is mixed, like a different culture, was extremely difficult. So I had to produce a lot of them before achieving something. when you work on one single person, it's much easier, okay, because there's no confusion of what you ask. But it's yeah, it's totally a problem. Um, but this is Michelle, you know really well that if you go inside a science book of autonomy, you will find a white man. Okay, that is that is the autonomy book. Okay, there is almost never a woman, and almost never a black person. So there are books being designed with for this diversity. So it is a massive work that we something that we do culturally. We are changing. There is a lot of work. As it is unfair, it's not correct, it's not what we want. So support on that side, but maybe now with AI, it's possible to rebalance it by creating a lot of synthetic content that contains, you know, those level of diversity. Tom.
Um, just following up with what you said there, Michelle, the a thought experiment that kind of highlights the alignment and taste issue. Imagine 1,000 people ask their AI, paint me a happy picture, right? With no context. What does it come back with, right? What is a happy picture to the AI? Now imagine you ask your personal AI that has all of your family photos, all of your stories, and all of your context for the last 2 or 3 years, and you tell it to paint you a happy picture. Mine's probably going to have my family, my cat, a wrestling match or something like that in the picture. And um, I think it really starts to highlight, the overall direction that we're all taking, which is really focusing on data sovereignty and making the AI aligned and personally useful for ourselves. And I mean, I was just thinking through that. The experiences I have when I talk directly to an AI without any context versus what I do with the ones that I have now that I've gotten slightly trained, that they work so much differently. Um, it's just a very different experience. That's all I had.
Manolo, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, I shared in the chat this blog post that I made 3 years ago, which is about something that happened, okay, which is insane. So if you see the blog post, there is people ask to create Barbie in different styles. So the German Barbie came out like a Nazi, okay, and then there is the I can't remember North Africa, whatever it is, that come with a Uzi. Okay, that is was AI. I was trained. There is a video inside this blog post that you get the whole story because this is all real. This is what happened for real. Uh, so
This is the exact this is the exact point I was trying to explain. You see, we've been living in a stereotype world. If we are not be careful, it will keep pushing with the AI. It can be catastrophic, you know.
yeah, exactly. It shows that this is 3 years ago. Okay, look already the quality of the image 3 years ago was pretty good, but the problem is not. I mean, it's improved, but it's not fixed. Okay, that is the crazy thing. That is improved, but not fixed, because the nobody cares. So those corporations they don't care about this. Okay, it's clearly because otherwise it would be fixed. So we had think about what's happened from ChatGPT 3.5 to the one that we have now. Okay, so a world changed in AI generation on this specific element because the quality of the images it got better, but this level of diversity it didn't improve. But yeah, that is the that, that is the funny. Let's call it funny story. So yeah, we need at one point someone suggested, we need these the resonant LLM. and maybe one day we will be able to make our own. But what we can do is for sure do some specific training data, and as a community, maybe in the future when we're gonna be, more people, we can have more diverse reality, and then we can put we together the training data that we want, you know.
Manolo, along those lines, we've had a couple of the tech calls, and I've shared with you guys some of the local models that I've built and how I've built them, using different model families and different lower training techniques, and even the math mapping, using ternary and things like that. And what I've ended up with is I'm today I just got to the point where I've finished the last couple. I have 28 specialists now that I've trained across, and they're all very specific. If you look at, some of them are relatively small, but one of them is like an accounting, one of them is like a math, it's very, very small and specific. And my intent, I put out a couple of model cards up on Hugging Face, and my intent is to put a bunch of those out there. And as a community, if we can start building those and putting the data sets and putting the model cards out there, and then putting instruction sets for people that have the capacity to do it locally, then we can start helping other folks get their systems to the point where they have, a local amplification cloud, and then maybe a personal cloud, and then maybe, having to go to the commercial models. But my system at this stage, I'm at the point where I'm trying to use almost all local, but I'm not there yet. But those models, my intention is to share those. And I
I'm
think if we
sharing the
do,
screen. I'm sharing the screen so people can see your diagram.
yeah. Yeah. So, and I apologize, it's very, very deep. This was just something I put together for myself. But essentially, when you look at and zoom in on layer two, and you look at the local reasoning engine there, Manolo, if you could scroll in on, go back down, scroll in on layer two,
Yeah,
and
layer
look at,
two.
yeah, so look at those models. Those are the models that I'm training, right? And those are my fleet consensus. I've built in JEPA models, so I'm also getting semantic matches, which makes it a lot better when you take an LLM model and you combine it with a JEPA model that's doing semantic matching, and then you do a consensus across that. You get a much higher confidence rate on your answer. So, I mean, this is not anything groundbreaking here. I'm literally doing the same thing that they released in their code, right? I'm doing consensus rounds. I'm doing self-referencing loops inside of each model, inside of each computer. It's the same stuff, but eventually, if we can share these models, and then also, I've got these shared so that I'm sharing this across my own personal network. Eventually, we can get to the point where we can do some peer-to-peer distributed inference. Now, the technical aspect of that, it's very, very complicated. It'll require a lot of testing. But there are people out there that are doing it in the universities. But we can set up a system so that we can start sharing some resources, depending on how we map it. I don't know how big it needs to be. I don't know what the growth path would be for something like that, because frankly, there's nothing like it. But this architecture diagram that you see here, that's what I'm working towards, and my intent is to share those models. And as we go along, hopefully we can all curate our own models, because the advantage that the big companies have is that they have massive amounts of trading data, right? And there are techniques for harvesting out that human reinforcement learning and then feeding it back into your own local models and doing quantized LoRa training. We can move away from those bigger models, and they're going to continue to evolve. And I think, just trailing off, the biggest thing is to think of them for what they really are. They are very complex databases, right? With the ability to quickly navigate to data points within that data lake. And if we treat them like databases, and they're nothing magical, well, we can use another model, right? Because the other model has my data, and in the end, that's what we're doing. We're querying a database. And so anyway, that's my intent, is get to the point where we're sharing models and get everyone that can get to a point where they're using local models, and get away from, the cost, and not just the cost, but the ramifications of being tied to a commercial AI, and then you're 6 months down the road in your professional career and you just can't afford it anymore, or they change things. Mythos 4.7 threw my friend off. He was in the middle of developing a warranty application, and he bumped to 4.7, and he found all kinds of trouble. It wasn't Mythos 4.7 was not behaving as well as 4.6. So, these models.
Opus.
I'm sorry, yeah, Opus. But these models are going to continue to come out, and I think it's just one aspect of it, right? We're focusing on the harness, we're focusing on data sovereignty, and I think that's really the right direction.
Totally. Just on this topic, it just came out the when 3.6 27 billion, and can be compared to Opus 4.5. And this 27 billion I mean, it's still not small, but nevertheless, on some machine can run. I can run it on mine, and the 8-bit quantized, so the lead, I mean, the biggest version run 6.9 token per second. So it's low, but it's amazing. It's really good and can be used for coding. I saw some demo. It's incredible, and think that it's low. But if you let it work overnight in the background, of course, doesn't matter. The speed is free.
Yeah.
All right. So we still have 15 minutes left. Anyone else wants to add anything regarding the topic of the call, or anything else you want to share?
One thing just regarding what I mentioned, this auto research, and I've been looking a bit further around this topic, and one really interesting thing is coming out regarding the corporate world and the overall kind of competition in between this corporate and normal people, small teams. One guy made a really good analysis, and it comes out that the corporate structure is actually really disabled to get the best out of the concept like auto research. Why? Because you can quickly deploy it. You have to make some important and hard decisions like what to measure, what is criteria, and then you just throw it, you make it run, and through the night it brings out a better result. Tomorrow you do it again, or maybe you put 3 things daily like that. In the corporate structure, generally, they have this decision making when everybody avoids its own responsibility. So there is a really interesting simulation in which it actually, this kind of concept, which is kind of pretty groundbreaking and game changing, is actually driving the things towards small teams, which are much easier to do decision, to act quickly, to decide whatever and make it running, So there is a simulation in which small teams using this kind of mechanisms will solve many small problems which corporations will not be able to touch. And I also have a feeling that these big guys are getting stuck. I don't know where, I don't know how, I don't know why, with this all money and all this power, how it can happen. But every model is announced as a kind of new thing, but when it comes, it brings more problems than solutions. Maybe they are more focused to just manipulate us and make these models run in the circles and spend as tokens and not being actually focused on the quality, but on the extracting the value, as they say, getting the revenues. But I'm getting more and more confident and kind of optimistic about all we're doing, just kind of.
Thank you, Momir. Yeah, I shared about a time ago this blog post, the Resonant DAO, where we are building different, and explain about this. I don't know if you read this blog post, but it talks about this small team, the bottom-up approach that we have, thanks for the DAO, and that is not gonna be easy for those corporations to adapt to those new business models. But yeah. Thank you. And I don't know, what we're trying to do here also is on our, especially those Thursday call, to have you guys bringing some ideas and topics to explore together. They could be, last week I explained this idea of opinion making sessions. So we can come here with not a fully made an opinion, okay, just something to discuss. It can be anything. Okay, I mean anything, anything connected to this, to the topic of augmented mind and this human AI collaboration through, through technology, but also from the lens of philosophy and so on. So you could bring any topic to which we still don't have a fully developed opinion, and start building that opinion together.
Well, I think one important segue when I'm looking at your article, and I did read that, I appreciate that. Our small tactical teams of engineers that work on things that are realized through the DAO, right, through bounties and other projects like that. Uh, I've got a handful of things. I would love to start engaging with some of you guys or, some other people that, come into the community to work on some projects that some are, economically focused and some are just, things that I want to do to help people, right? Things that are personally important to me. And so I would like to be able to get to a point where we have that community, um, substrate so that we can do that. And I know, no, I know that's in the bounties, and I know we're still working on it, but I'm really eager to get to that point where we can start having people join the DAO, have people start joining these small groups, and a few of us get together and we're going to work on this X project right here. And maybe it's heavy dev work, or maybe it's heavy creative work, or maybe it's heavy thought or artistic work, right? Maybe someone wants to write a book, or does some multimedia movie or something like that. I've got my daughters and some of her college friends. I would love to partner with some young people and say, let's start a project together, and I'll be the engineer and you guys are the three creatives, and let's do a play, let's do a movie, let's do a book, whatever it is, to start at least practicing the act of getting together resources and acting as the DAO is intended. So I would like to start moving in that direction. I know we're all driving, but
Yeah, no
I really
problem.
like that. I think because sometimes it's a bit like, what are we doing here? We're talking about doing and we're building about doing. And yeah. So when do we start doing things that are not building this? And there's so many powerful things that Tom dropped there. There could be young people that are, maybe they have a project, maybe they are building something and they need a community like this to support them. Or it could be in a school, it could be in a university. For many groups like that, dropping into a session like this and consulting using the brain power that we have here could be amazing, or it could be a charity. So yeah, I love that, Tom.
yeah. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I sent a couple of images there on the chat. Do you guys see that? The fixed red box that I made, or my buddy made. He has a demo, and these things are sitting at Jittery Joe's Coffee's shops all over Athens, Georgia, which is where the University of Georgia is. So it's a pretty high traffic area and a lot of kids. And basically, guys go up and start an iPhone FaceTime conversation with the repair tech who has one central location, but a bunch of lockers. And they put their phone in there, and he repairs it and then drops it back off. So it's like an Amazon kiosk for phone repair at Jittery Joe's and coffee shops. And then the other thing they're doing here in America, you guys are familiar with like Verizon Wireless and Sprint. We've got giant cell phone companies here. Well, Spectrum Wireless is dropping billions to try to acquire some of that wireless home internet market. And so a part of this project is to have a barcode system there so that they can, after they get rid of their phone, or let's say their phone is broken. So Spectrum Wireless is giving out free phones and also a year of service, and also trying to get people to sign up for Spectrum Wireless, which is $50 a month. It's a great bargain, and they're giving $300 bonuses. So my friend is a dealer in the wireless industry. He's not technical at all, but he's a good businessman. And they've got a pilot project here. And so my job as the technical guy is to take that prototype that you see, and I'm going to build a 3D printed version of it that's really, really nice, and then embed a Raspberry Pi instead of an iPhone or instead of an iPad, change the computing device. So this is a real practical material, software, mechanical engineering business project that I'm helping my friends with who are not technical, and they know I've got AIs. Right. So I'm the person who's augmented, working with two business people that are not augmented, but they have great business ideas. So to add that level of um, development and intellectual horsepower, not me, but me and my robots, right? So
Well, if you ever need the mechanical part, I can help you with that. Because I did design work for a company that's kind of similar to cars, but the high-end surface modeling and all that stuff. So like simple CAD, printing out stuff. I've done tons of that stuff here at work. So if you need help on that, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I like
yeah,
computers
excellent.
because I had to deal with CAD and stuff. So just ring me
Thank
up.
you,
I
Andre.
can help you.
Yeah, thank you. And this is a perfect example of how something like this would work, right? So I would put my project on the DAO, and I intend to do that. Like put the project on the DAO, and me and my buddies join the DAO, and I'll pull them in, right? So they're not technical, but I can get them to join the DAO, and they can see the value of it. This one is, specifically to make money, right? We're going to make money. $300 comes to the wireless company. So I'm helping these guys with their business. It's a legitimate business, right? And I'm a software engineer, so I have to make money for my family. But this is one example of how I'm collaborating with, non-augmented people.
If I can share some more also on the ground works regarding all my different AI capabilities. It came out that my best earning comes from the product design. And here is the new line of shoes that will come out. Is the ecological 90% bio-based shoes. And one amazing company I'm working with. So also regarding the different design stuff and everything, yeah, it's also it comes out that one of my agents has a pretty amazing. I can help you with the product design of this box if you for free. We can run through some simulations and see what comes out as a kind of uh, uh, you know design that will make strong impression.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I think that's the power of this community, right? Momar, you've got a background in psychology, Andre, background in engineering, Greg, background in QA and quality work, Michelle, artist, Sal, I know you got some other technical business experience. I mean, we've got a pretty broad group just in this call. So just want to keep fostering this.
Thank you. All right. So, and Andre, share your Discord handle so people can get in touch. All right, so I think we are at the end of the call, and was good to discuss those topics and explore how we all interpret and the struggle and, and see each other struggle. But yeah, also it's good to see the the commitment with the community and the possibility with it. The So regarding the resonant OS, it, so things are moving faster. My hope is that for next Monday, our tech team for resonant OS, I will have something that actually works and can be shared with you, so we can then maybe test and maybe by Wednesday we can present it to the community.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the prior version functioning again. I told you guys I broke my system a couple weeks ago, and I've got everything running again on the, I forget which version of Resonant OS I'm on, but it's the last one that we had available. So looking forward to that, and apologize for the delays, but we will get that together so that everyone can start, gearing up and testing.
Nice. All right. So, if I don't know, any last word before we close the call? All good. All right. Thanks again, and see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you, guys. Adios.
Sam maybe has his end. Let's stop recording.
Oh, is it finished?
Yeah, we just finished.
Ah, sweet. I wasn't there for quite at the end. I was